Untitled got to know that Asia has reclaimed its position as the world's greatest importer and exporter, and Africa is the world's second largest importer and the third largest exporter, while North America is the world's second largest importer and exporter. So what are your ambitions on expanding into other areas?
Network-wise, you mean? Yeah. Well, currently Brussels Airport has some excellent connections historically into the African continent, but also Middle East, North America and Asia are excellent. We have excellent connections. So one of the priorities we currently have on the radar is South America. We really want to develop that market for the flower business northbound, and some additional connections into India and central China. That's the ambition we have.
The cargo basis, do you have any plans of expanding to other areas apart from the ones that I mentioned?
When it comes to cargo, we specifically look at the region in combination with a product typically. So when we look at business development, for example, South America, for us this is very perishable oriented. China is more e-commerce focused. India is typically a pharma import market for us. So it's really a combination of route development and product development. Yeah.
And what are the most common import and export products from Brussels Airport?
Well, export-wise, we're a very big pharma market. So we are still the preferred European pharma gateway. Not just pharma, life sciences, but also vaccines. We handled close to 1.3 billion vaccines over the past 12 months for the COVID crisis. So we played a very big role in that global distribution, and we will continue to do so. Import-wise, there's a lot of e-commerce flowing into Brussels, both in the integrated segment, postal and the commercial markets, but also perishables and general cargo, automotive, everything that needs to move fast and that needs an uplift. Well, Brussels Airport plays its role there.
If you could talk about pharma, how important is it in the import and export commodities for Brussels Airport?
Pharma for us really is mainly an export-driven market. I would say 85% of the pharma volumes are production taking place in Europe, being exported into the rest of the world. There is some import, but to date it's limited. It's very often focused around the ingredients, the APIs, but that market is developing as well. And as mentioned before, the Indian subcontinent is very important for us, for a lot of generics production taking place here. We would love to set up a trade route into Europe, potentially connecting into North America. So that's a big business development priority for us.
Well, this year also there was 6 new destinations that have been added, and as well as 4 new and returning airlines. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And if you could just discuss a little about your cargo plans with these aircrafts, and how substantial of contribution will this make to the cargo revenue for the airport at the end of the year?
Well, last year we had a growth of more than 30%. So that was a very big success for the community. That growth was handled without too many operational disturbances. So I think the handling agents did a great job at Brussels Airport, and we did not suffer a lot of issues. It went very smooth. So overall, good performance, and we want to continue up to that level and continue the growth. We need new partners for that. So we do not only grow with existing customers, so expanding connections, expanding the fleet, but also, as you mentioned, adding some new customers, some new operators. And a big part of the additional growth that we will see will come from those new operators. So they're absolutely important. So again, they're combining organic growth of the existing portfolio in combination with some new operators.
If you could share your plans for the coming quarters 2, 3 and 4, what are your plans? Are you planning to add any aircrafts or any expansion or any announcement you would like to share?
Yeah, there's nothing specific I can announce today. We are in very detailed talks with a couple of airline partners on setting up new routes to some of the continents I mentioned in the beginning of the interview around those commodities. So perishables, pharmaceuticals, e-commerce. numbers. So we hope to announce some new developments in quarter 3 and 4 of this year.
I'll just go back to sustainability. So what are your goals and accomplishments in terms of sustainability? Can you talk something about Shift 2027?
Yeah, so sustainability has become a core part of the new strategy at Brussels Airport. We were already focusing on sustainability. The big difference now is that it has become a strategic priority. So throughout all the initiatives we take, there will always be a sustainability aspect taken into account. So not just about the airport operations, we are already a green airport, but also in all the real estate developments and in setting up new initiatives to gain more momentum in the sustainability ecosystem. There's a big link to the Stargate project we are doing, a European Commission project together with a couple of other airport partners and airports. So Brussels Airport is quite ambitious, and we really want to be the lighthouse airport in Europe around all the sustainability aspects. Yeah.
I would like to know about digitization. So how significant do you think digitization is, and what more digital services that you believe are needed or are required at the airport?
Well, digitization has always been at the heart of our focus at Cargo. As you know, we've built up the BruCloud platform for a couple of years. We have, together with the community, created a couple of applications that improve the efficiency of the handling processes at the cargo area at BruCargo. We're currently in the phase of implementing a 100% digital green lane, meaning that the entire landside process will be digitized and implemented in 100% of the operations, resulting in reduced waiting times, more efficient handling processes, and an improvement of speed and reduction of cost. So for us, digitization is a priority because of the enabling aspect it has on the cargo business. A big focus for next year will be digitizing the airside processes. So there we are already setting up a new project, and we hope to come with some news next year on the innovation that will take place in that part of the business.
Can you talk anything about it at the moment?
Well, at this stage, it's really setting up the scene in the context of an airside optimization project. And a big part of that optimization project will be digitization. So there again, the digital applications will be a strong enabler to make it happen.
By any chance, the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, or the Shanghai airport, did that affect your cargo business?
Not very much, to be honest. We did not have any direct Russian links. So in that perspective, we did not lose any business. And I would even say that some new business came to the airport as an alternative for the capacity that was lost at other airports from Russian operators. So the impact has been very limited for Brussels. Yeah.
We could say there was an advantage, in fact.
A small one, but so absolutely no negative impact for Brussels Airport. Yeah.
Would you like to say about, the carrying cargo in the passenger cabins have been exempted by EASA since July, like from July now, and resulting in the capacity change. So what impact do you believe this will have on the cargo handling around the world?
Well, I believe the passenger freighters, or the freighters, however you want to call it, have played a big role over the past 2 years to add extra capacity in the market, in a capacity constrained market. So I think the entire industry has been very creative in finding that extra capacity. Brussels Airport handled a lot of those passenger freighters. At a certain moment, 40% of the freighter flights were passenger freighters. So for us, it was a big volume. That type of operations has already gone down, and as of August, it will stop. That's what we estimate. The impact will be limited again because the volumes were already being replaced by normal freighter operations. I do believe that for certain markets, for example, the African continent, it could still have played a role, but I'm afraid that unfortunately that capacity will no longer be economically viable because of the cabin load that will no longer be allowed, only belly loads. So my estimation is that we will not have a lot of passenger freighters anymore at the airport.
And what are your thoughts on the drones that are carrying cargo? It's as minimal as 2 kgs or 2 pounds until 25. So you think this is going to impact the airport cargo sector worldwide? anytime in the future?
Well, everybody's looking at drones. It's a very interesting technology, and people are looking at how it could innovate the business. I believe that it's important to find a niche in the market where there is a business case for this type of operations. And currently we've seen a lot of freight forwarders experiment with it, especially in the smaller parcels for last mile distribution. It proves to be difficult to make it a viable business case. However, I do believe that in certain regional geographies, it can make sense to have a drone activity, probably for larger size drones in remote territories. I think mainland European airports, in busy airports, combining that with new drone activities is going to be a challenge. But I do believe in the concept of drones. So it's something interesting to keep an eye on for the next years. Yeah.
So are you planning to get into the drones or any collaboration?
Yeah, we're actually looking at opportunities on how we as an airport can connect it with our ecosystem. There's nothing specific to announce at this stage, but we're definitely looking at it. Yeah.
And this is purely going to be near Brussels?
It's for being present, for knowing the industry, for setting up the right partnership, because I do believe that in the very near future, some things will start happening at other places around the world, and we just need to be ready. We need to be involved. We need to have a skin in the game, and that's what we're doing.
So I'm done with my questions here. Is there anything that you would like to add? Anything that I might have missed?
Over the past years at Brussels Airport, we've been heavily investing in new infrastructure, new real estate solutions for our partners at the airport, the handling agents, the forwarders. There's a lot of demand. It's a very hot market. We've already invested close to 150 million euros in first line facilities. So the Brugcargo West facility, the renovation of the Swissport building, the new animal care and inspection center, which were all opened the past 2 years, which gave us new handling facilities and room for growth. This year we continue to invest. We just recently announced a new development, the Brugcargo Central project, we call it. So an additional 70 million euros we invest in new cargo handling facilities, second line for forwarders. We will announce some new projects later this year for further development. So Brussels Airport is heavily investing in new cargo facilities so that the business can continue to grow. So I think that's the key message. We're open for business, and we're welcoming new partners at the airport.
Do you want to describe anything about these new facilities that you mentioned? What are they going to be like?
Yeah, the facilities will be brand new logistical buildings, so state-of-the-art, specifically tailored for both big-size companies and smaller size. So there will be single operations. So the recent project we announced is 3 new central buildings. 2 of them will be single tenants and 1 will be multi-tenant. So we're really looking at both large operators and smaller size operations, so to serve the full portfolio of customers at the airport. Here specifically, we're looking at sustainable development again. So they will be meeting the newest standards of sustainability and especially allowing our current partners to grow their business at the airport.
You know, the freighter or the cargo prices that have increased because of the COVID, and it is also said that they are going to stay there for a couple of more years. So what do you have to say about it? What is your opinion on this? Do you think they are going to come down, or this is what is going to be the new normal in the cargo industry?
Well, I think for the next years, probably it will be the normal. There's still a lot of disruption in sea freight, which will last into 2023. There's still the impact, especially in China, of the COVID measures that will have an impact on the global supply chains. And as a result, the demand for air cargo will remain very high. The passenger flights are not, especially on the international, intercontinental routes, are not yet up to level yet. Regional travel is there, intercontinental not yet. So there as well, the belly capacity is not yet at the level of 2019, pre-COVID. So all those elements make that the demand for air cargo remains high. The capacity is not yet meeting the demand. So the yields, the prices will stay high. However, in the future, we do not know when, there will be more capacity. The belly capacity will come back into the market. Sea freight will at a certain stage normalize again. So in that moment, there will be a lot of freighter capacity in the market. Demand might normalize. So at a certain stage, we all know that this cycle will go back down. Nobody knows when, but today we are still in a very high yield market.
We still have hope.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Nathan.